everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are jumping into travel-friendly makeup. Subtle Beauty sent over their Subtle Beauty stack, which is basically a full face of makeup. And I have a couple little products that would make a full face for travel-friendly, right in your bag makeup. This is not sponsored, but I did want to do, it's summer. I want to play around with things that you can take on the go. And honestly, like this, not a ton of makeup to travel with. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe because I upload every other day and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to jump into a full face of travel-friendly makeup, stay tuned. All right, jumping right in, my skin is already prepped. I like, whenever I'm traveling, to make sure that I bring skincare products that double as like primers. So I did use the Glow Recipe Strawberry BHA Pore Smooth Blur Drops. It is a pore refining and blurring serum that actually works really well as a primer, leaving the skin a little bit tacky. And I'm going to jump right into the Subtle Beauty stack. I've got a few products here that I will need in addition to this, but we're going to jump right in. So starting with foundation and concealer, I actually have two shades of their creams. This is Chartier's, which is a little bit lighter, and this one is Brookline. Brookline is a little more my skin tone, so I am going to take that just right on the butt of a sponge, and I'm going to just even out my complexion everywhere with this. So I'm going to take a little bit of that and really just neutralize my redness. I don't want a ton of this. This is, when we think about it, vacation beat. So we want to really have a very less is more attitude. So I'm really just focusing this where I have redness. And then on the tip of my sponge going into the lighter of the two colors, I'm going to add a little bit to the under eye and then blend that in. It's definitely sitting on the skin nicely, and it is looking really flawless without looking heavy. I like that I can still see my skin, through the cream, but if I take a little bit more, I can build it up to get a little bit more coverage where I want it. I really like a product when I'm traveling where I can, only have one product do a lot of things. Way back when, I would have packed like 3 concealers, 3 foundations, just so I had options. Now I want things that work that are easy. All right, next we're gonna go into the cream lip and cheek. And I have these 2 colors to work with, which I feel like Dusty Rose is definitely a little more like bronzy toned, and Coral is a true coral. So I'm gonna use both of these, and I'm actually gonna use that same sponge. The way I use this is on my finger. I'm gonna take a little bit of that color, and I'm going to kind of pull that on the cheek wherever I would put a cream bronzer, really focusing on this product to, contour the face a bit. And then a tiny bit on the bridge of the nose. This is, Vacation Glam. And then while it's still creamy, I'm going to take the Coral shade, and I'm going to take a small amount of this lower down on the face. We're going to switch to that sponge. And this is just going to give us that flush of color and a little bit of sculpt to the cheeks. And now keep in mind, I am going to be layering a powder blush and a powder bronzer. So this doesn't need to be super intense. We want to use this to give this like lit from within, glowy color to the cheeks, and just adding a tiny bit of warmth. And again, you can use the butt of the sponge if you do want to build up a little bit more. I'm really liking the way that coral color is sitting on the skin. All right, I know that they have a powder. I don't currently have it. So I'm just going to grab a powder foundation or a pressed setting powder, and I'm going to take that on the travel-friendly Subtle Beauty brush. And I'm just going to lightly set down the face. I want this so that the powder blush doesn't stick to anything, and I'll get a little bit of an even blend. But you'll notice I'm putting on such a small amount of powder. I just want the powder to, lock everything in place, not to give myself any more coverage. And like this combo already looks very healthy. So we're gonna then add the powder bronzer and the powder blush right on top. I'm actually gonna use that same brush and start with the bronzer. That is a really pretty tone. It's not used on camera before. And I do just really like the way that it blends into the skin. Super creamy. And then going into the powder blush on that same brush. And I'm just going to press that over. You'll notice right away this is super pigmented. So I like to just press it on. Then I will swirl my brush on either the back of my hand or on a towel. And then I will blend. At this point, you know, I like to have everything melt into the face. So going into my sponge, I'm just going to press over the cheeks just to melt those powders together. And this is going to make the bronzer and the blush kind of sink into those cream products. So it doesn't look like it's sitting on top of the skin. And instead, it sort of absorbs into the skin. Now, I like a heavy blush. So for me, this is a good amount. If you're somebody who likes a ton of blush, you can absolutely add in some more. But I'm going to go right into the highlight next. And I am going to take that on the same brush, but I'm going to sort of like pull that up, which is going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to take that on the tip of the brush and just pat that around the orbital bone of the eye, which is going to be that C shape from the brow to the top of the cheek. And then open that brush up and blend. If you don't blend, that's when you can get that stripe of highlight on the cheek. Instead, I want the highlight to kind of blend over everything. So it's this lit from within glow that's on top of the cheek. And it's not just a stripe of highlight on the face. It sort of just makes everything glow. For eyeshadow, I actually have two options here. I've got, for me, daytime and nighttime. Smoky black with silver or a true like brown. So I'm gonna actually go in with what I'm gonna call the daytime colors. I'm gonna grab two brushes. I'm gonna start with this fluffy brush and I'm gonna take the dark brown and I'm taking it on the tip of the brush and I am gonna just add this above the crease. Because this is travel makeup, this isn't going to be a 9-color smoky eye. This is going to be something super easy. Switching to the dome top brush, I'm actually going to go into the powder bronzer. And I'm going to take that and just use this color to blend into and above the crease. And this is going to soften everything. I love using a bronzer in the crease when I'm traveling because it means A, everything's going to be monochromatic and kind of blend a little bit better, and B, it's one less thing I have to pack. Back to that first brush and the dark brown, I'm going to run that on the lower lash line. Same thing, jumping into the bronzer to blend it out. I know it looks a lot right now, but that's where adding different colors and blending together is going to make everything look much smoother. Right. I'm going to jump into that shimmery shade, and I'm going to take that on my finger, and I'm going to pull that across the lid. Back into that first brush, we're just going to blend the edges. And then taking a tiny bit more of that brown, I'm going to blend that on the outer portion of the eye, just to add some shadow. All right, I'm going to go throw on mascara. This is the Rare Beauty mascara off camera. And I'm going to use the Milk Brow Powder and the Milk Brow Gel like I did in my last video to do my brows, and I'll be right back. All right, we did mascara, we did brows, and now we need a lip. And I'm going to go into the lip and cheek colors. And I'm actually going to take the darker of the two. And with my finger, I'm just going to press that over the lips as a tinted lip color. Last thing is just going to be some setting spray because I never leave home without it. Given the color of the eyes, I'm not loving the color of the lips, so I'm going to pop a gloss on top. I tried this the other day and it was a little bit more brown, but the same tone of this. This is the Desert Sand Lip Plumping Oil from BBX Ellie. And I'm going to pop this right on top. And see how it has a similar tone, but it's a little bit like, a little more brown, a little less of that like desert sandy color like the blush. I also learned the other day when I put this on that this color gets a little darker as it dries, so it will also get a little bit deeper. And anyway, this is a super simple travel-friendly makeup. Now, I will say I probably went a little darker on the eyes than I probably wanted to. That brown shadow was super pigmented, but you can always take your eyeshadow brush with your pressed powder if that happens. Pick up your skin toned powder and just sort of blend that over everything. And you can see with the eye that I just did already that that will absolutely kind of tone down the darkness and the intensity if you go a little too heavy with your smoky eye. Like that already feels a little bit more daytime. I'm gonna do it on the lower lash as well. Yeah, and that definitely brought it back to this side of daytime. Anyway, just a roundup of the products we used today. We used the Subtle Beauty stack with the travel brush that it comes with. We used the Milk Makeup Powder Brow Cush Brow. I always forget what it's called. Cush Brow Shadow Stick with the Cush Brow Lamination Brow Gel. We used the Rare Beauty Travel Size Mascara and the One Size Travel or Compact Powder Foundation Turn Up the Base. I did use two eyeshadow brushes. These are both from Beauty for Real. It is the blender brush and the contour brush. I used a sponge and I used a setting spray. So I know that to some people that is a lot of makeup, but it is 3 brushes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 products. I don't think that's too many. Let me know what you think. Oh, I'm sorry, and the lip. 7 products. Let me know if you think that's too much. Let me know if this is an easy travel routine you would use and what your travel recommendations are. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!